If you're following Depp vs. Heard, you probably know that Amber's lawyers blame that umbrella guy and YouTubers and the internet on a bunch of stuff. Now it seems the lawyers against Marilyn Manson are blaming Colonel Kurtz and Marilyn Manson uncanceled here concerning this case with the former Jane Doe, who is now known by her real name, which is Bianca Elaine. So, Marilyn Manson Uncancelled says Bianca will no longer be a Jane Doe. Her lawyers are basically blaming me and Colonel Kurtz for this. Looks like I'm off the hook. I'm always off the hook, under the radar. I guess it's kind of cool. It's how I like it. But of course, Colonel Kurtz actually had to remind people that I said it too. But alright, I forgive her. We're on the same side. Here's where it is. Colonel Kurtz, Enter Hacker did it too. I know. But we gotta spread the facts, guys. And my response to her is pretty funny, but it's not totally appropriate for this channel. So, you could read it, but let's move on. Well, it's kind of appropriate, but let's move on. And this person, Denise, says, I'm sure her running her mouth to the sun and whatever that podcast was have nothing to do with her name being known, and the Manson cases replies with, absolutely nothing, in fact, -0. Great point. We didn't find her name through research and a private eye or something like that. She's the one that put her name out there and made it easy to connect the dots. How come these people put things out there that seem like they're network news propaganda and fake for the sheep when the stuff's so easy to figure out why they're wrong? How are these people lawyers? I should be a lawyer if it's that easy. And this person here says, it must take a huge amount of hypocritical skills to be her lawyers and invent such BS when her podcast and article are available all around the internet. Right, so backing up what we just said before, but you get it hard anyway. So here's what the Manson case is posted. The new Jane Doe lawsuit against Marilyn Manson will no longer use a synonym. In light of this, plaintiff can no longer be afforded the protection that she sought. As such, she is willing to proceed with an amended caption to use her true name. That's the saddest story I ever heard. And the Manson cases tweeted out a lot of details about this case and things that this new accuser is blaming Manson of. And you know what? They're so harsh and they're so disgusting that I'm not comfortable reading them on the channel because of rules and regulations that something might happen to me. That's how bad they are. I don't even want to say the words. Although they're nothing I agree with, simply putting these words out there might get someone in trouble. Twitter is a little bit more lenient than YouTube, so on Twitter, that's fine. Anyway, she says, the new Jane Doe lawsuit was filed in recent weeks on January 30th in the state of New York. This lawsuit was not only filed against Manson, but also Interscope, Nothing Records, and 1 to 20 unknown people. I hope I'm not in there. Thanks, Colonel Kurtz. Could you not have said that I said it too? All right. I still forgive her. I know. It's just a response to a tweet. And Lisa goes on to say, this new Jane Doe lawsuit against Marilyn Manson is nuts. They're pointing out old lyrics, old posters, before he was famous, etc. to drive home their point in the lawsuit, which is Manson is a P word and his record companies were aware. Wow. What they're doing is basically saying, Marilyn Manson did this to me, look what a weirdo he is. That's supposed to be their evidence. I mean, anyone could say that about anybody who's put out some freaky stuff. You still need some kind of proof, some kind of evidence. I guess we got to go through it again. Police report, medical report, video, audio, that's authentic and undisputed that it's the person. Without that, we've got no foundation for evidence. In a letter from one of the Jane Doe's attorneys, this letter was served to cancel an upcoming date. While stating their reasoning while they are changing their synonym to her real name, it claims her name and address were published. I've only seen her name mentioned, the letter. I hope I'm saying this word right. You guys know what I mean. Dear Judge Izari, we are in receipt of defendant Warner's request for a pre-motion conference with respect to the issue of the anonymous caption. In light of recent events, we believe that the conference will not be necessary. As counsel correctly notes, this case arises out of sexual assault and was commenced in Nassau County Supreme Court. Plaintiff requested leave to proceed under a synonym pursuant to New York law, but defendant Warner filed to remove the case before such leave was granted. Since the filing of the state court lawsuit, plaintiff's circumstances have materially changed because her identity and private information, including her email and home address, have been widely published on the internet by individuals we believe are aligning themselves with this defendant. The use of a synonym was intended to avoid this, so they're basically accusing Colonel Kurtz and the Manson cases of doxing, but I can tell you right now, because I know both of them, they get information via third party. Like I said, they are not the originators of the information. They didn't know where she lived or her real name until they found out from someone else who put it out there. That's the fact, and that should be really easy to prove. In light of this, plaintiff can no longer be afforded the protection that she sought. As such, she is willing to proceed with an amended caption to use her true name. Yours truly, Pat Stoneking. Well, you know what, Pat? She should use her real name. If you're accusing someone of these crazy, horrible things that you've got zero evidence for, and you're not even putting your name out there, well, that's pretty weak. That's pretty cowardly. So, great. Use your real name, and let's see what happens with no evidence. Possibly another grifter. And when I say possibly, I mean 99.99999%. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm doing shout outs, special thanks. Obviously, shout out to Colonel Kurtz, Lisa from the Manson cases, and Marilyn Manson Uncancelled. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be pretty sad about it, but I'll get over it. Rant done for now. See you next time.